Hey there everybody, it's Mr. Moves87 here, and welcome to the Much Game Guides Hall of Fame video for 2018. Joining me in this video is Cole. Introduce yourself if you would please.
How's it going, everybody?
And also along with us, making his debut on the Hall of Fame video is Moogle, if you would please.
Hello my friends, this is Moogle Fantasy.
And we're here to discuss, we have a grand old list of 10 games for you guys, and we're going to chat about them for a while. So, let's say we get right to it.
That sounds good to me. So, I guess I'll introduce this first video, or this first, not say video, in the past years it was done by videos, but we're going to do different this year with a discussion forum. The first game was introduced, or inducted by Nufi Banga himself, and it's original classic NES game, Contra. So, virtually what Contra is, and a lot of you guys would know, is a shoot-'em-up game for the NES, which, well, did take up a lot of my childhood, that's for sure, especially with the one-hit kills.
Yeah, from what I've heard, pretty much all these games are notoriously hard, especially on the NES era.
It's what we call NES hard. And it definitely set the groundwork for a lot of platformers and just shooter games in general. I'm pretty sure it was one of the first games to come around that Konami did, and that's kind of where their popularity and kind of everything else just came from, was this game in general.
Right.
Definitely evolved over the years and stuff, and that's kind of where Contra got its start. And it was quite the banger.
Nice.
I do mean that. I do mean that literally.
Yeah, I just remember playing it when I was young and having to use the Konami code.
I believe it.
Absolutely horrible at the game. So, if it makes you feel better, I can't even get past maybe the 4th level. So.
Yeah, I was around that same boat, probably the 4th level, and then, especially with the one-hit deaths that the series is all infamous for. Is not just the first game, it's the second one. And when you get the 2-player mode in it, friendly fire was not a thing back then.
That would have been awful if there was friendly fire, let's be honest here. It's almost as bad when they did that in Battletoads. Let's not have that in the fucking shooter.
No,
oh my God,
for sure.
Yeah.
For
How
sure.
many games were there, at least on the NES era? Were there, I think, 3 of them?
3?
4?
Yeah.
3, I believe.
I think there was about 3 or 2 or 3. I don't know if the third one, because the third one was Contra Forces, wasn't it? I don't even know if I could count that as a Contra game. But I'm pretty sure there was about 3, and then Contra 4 came around on the DS way later. And of course, there were also PS2 games. Or
were there?
A PS1 and a PS2 game. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there were quite a bit of Contra games out there.
Sure sounds like it, yeah.
Oh yeah, and there was also a Genesis game too.
Believe it or not, there's only one, apparently. Just the original.
Really?
Then there's Super Contra, which... No, wait, sorry. I'm just looking at this one.
Technically is the sequel, though.
Yeah, Contra, Super Contra, Operation C, which is for the Game Boy. Contra 3 Alien Wars came out for Super Nintendo.
Oh, so there were 3, but they weren't 3 across the Nintendo. They were separated across different consoles.
Oh, there was Contra Force for NES too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
yeah,
I don't know
there was
if that
3,
really
but
counts
then there was others scattered around too. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a conglomeration of games, and they were kind of all over the place. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now, are there any story continuities, or if the games can even have a story from 1 to the
Games
next?
didn't really have that much of a story, in all honesty. It was just
yeah.
I
You're
don't even know the.
You're
I don't
shooting
even know the
aliens trying to
names of
save
the
a babe. Virtually is what it comes down to.
It's very
Yeah.
true, very true.
The plot's just the same with every game. Even Contra 3. So there wasn't really a stable plot, especially when you're just throwing in the game, right? So.
Very true, yeah, just thrown into the action right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially where the action is always front and center. So, it kind of reminds me of a game I Let's Played on my channel, Jamestown, Legend of the Last Colony. Although, that one's more, say, Jamestown's more you're in a ship itself,
Okay.
Whereas this one, yeah, you're actually a person. You're just standing, or walking and shooting.
That's the thing about these games back in the day, though. They didn't really need a plot.
That's
Like,
true, yeah.
They just started off, and you like it's all about like if you're a child, like in this case, most of us were a child. Most of them, like some of us weren't even born back then when this game came out. So like, but you always had this imagination on like oh, I'm this guy and I'm fighting a war. Like you don't really need a plot when the game kind of speaks for itself.
Exactly right, yeah.
So
Well, plus the game was released in 1987, so
yeah, like I said, some of us weren't even born back then.
Yeah, I wasn't born until 1990 myself, so I'm out of that.
Born until 1991, so
thanks for making me feel old. I was only I was only 3.
Oh, jeez.
oh shit, dude. But yeah, I mean, Contra is a fantastic game, so
Yes.
I'll give it that.
Yep.
It's definitely.
There we go.
Long time coming to get onto this, get inducted anyway, so.
Yeah.
Alright, why don't we move along to the next game then?
Sure.
Okay, so our next game is Legend of Legaia, and it's actually been inducted by our good friend Bragg, aka Avril Fan F or Ryan Bragg. I don't even know what he goes by anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. I just go with Bragg, and that's the way I know him as.
That's what I know him as too. But I know him like way beforehand, before he changed his name to that.
Mhm.
But Legend of Legaia is an RPG made by Procyon and Contrail. It was one of the few RPGs that wasn't made by Square.
At the time, yeah.
At the time. The plot kind of goes like you're a protagonist named Vaughn, who's basically a village's martial artist. Like he's the he's the dude that knows how to fight. Kick everyone's ass and protect his village and shit. And pretty much you're just in a very you're in a very like small kind of open-ended world where humans can use things called Siru, and they pretty much you get powers from this, and that's kind of what the game's system is built on. And it's got like a combo mechanic. It's one of the few RPGs to utilize like a mechanic where you can customize combos and stuff, and it's got amazing music, awesome characters, just very fluid gameplay for an RPG. And I'm going up. You know what? I'll let everyone else share an opinion on the game. I don't know if anyone else has played the game but me.
I have a real little bit, mainly the intro, but funnily enough, with the combo system there, it kind of reminds me from, I'm not sure if you guys have played this, Saga Frontier 2.
I've heard of it, never played it, but I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. I've seen a Let's Play of it. So.
Yeah. Actually, I did one myself. This was quite a few years back when I did this, but essentially, there's a few different battle systems actually in Saga Frontier 2. Team battles, duel battles, and military battles. For right now, of course, focus on the duel battles, where essentially you can input up to 4 commands of base moves, like a basic slash or a cleave with a sword.
So that's where they got the idea from.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, though I think actually Legend of Legaia did it first because that came out before Saga Frontier 2.
Yeah, that's why I said that's where they got the idea from.
Exactly right. So yeah, you can put those baser moves together into a combo. So yeah, that's where I definitely do dig the combo system there. But yeah, me personally though, as far as Legend of Legaia goes, I've only played a little bit of the intro, so I don't really know that much about it. But hey, it's a PS1 RPG, and I'm all about that shit. So I'll have to try that out sometime for sure.
It's a very wonderful game. There's 2 games in the series. Obviously, the first one was the one that got inducted, and quite a game to induct in the Hall of Fame too. This is one of the more obscure RPGs out there. That's not very well known. And,
yeah, especially with how many amazing titles were on the PS1 back in the day.
Yeah, and like I said, usually the ones that aren't made by Square, like in my opinion, the obscure ones, and that kind of get overshadowed. But man, was this game fucking absolutely fantastic, and I kind of wish there was more games. But oh well, it's still a fantastic game, definitely worth playing.
I gotta say though too, this game does remind me a bit of Legend of Dragoon in a way too, Because Dragoon's got that combo system too, where you got to keep mashing the X.
That's
button.
right, with the additions, at the right time there.
There's also additions, yeah. Let's not forget about that. There's also the things at the end where you get bonus attacks, which is like a big part of the game as well. So,
And not to
get
mention the
rewarded.
storyline is
It's
actually like you hit the nail on the hammer with the storyline. It keeps you in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those like high risk, high reward type of systems to like, you can do these amazing combos and stuff, but like to really get the damage going is how you do it.
Oh yeah.
And that's what keeps you playing. Like you want these characters to succeed in what you do, and
Mhm.
that's why you keep playing them. That's like in any RPG though. So, but yeah, it's definitely worth the try. Like just even playing for an hour and stuff, like to see if you can get into it and that. It's definitely worth
Yeah.
checking out.
And when I played it before, this would have been a handful of years ago, but I really did enjoy the first couple hours there. I think the furthest I got, I think I got out to the world map at least. But yeah, I loved the combo system right away, actually. But at the time, I'm guessing like other games came around or kind of just fell by the wayside. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's been 3 years and I haven't played it and kind of just forgot about it. But no, that's one I definitely want to try out, actually. I've been wanting to try out in the past, actually, just even from prior experience and all that. So it's on my list.
It's definitely one of the most unique and one of the nicest looking RPGs on the console.
Hmm.
So
And also, you mentioned it was developed by Contra. I think they also developed Wild Arms 2 on the PS1, as I recall.
yes, they did. Yes, they
Mhm.
did. You know what? I was going to bring that up because I never got a chance to because I was just talking about the development team behind it. But yeah, they did do Wild Arms 2. And that game is absolutely wonderful as well.
Absolutely,
The
yeah.
entire Wild Arms franchise is wonderful.
It really is, yeah. Wild Arms 1 has always been my personal favorite. 2 is definitely up there, as is 3. Although I have not beaten 4 or 5. I really need to at some point, though, because they're both solid. I do love the headspace battle system there. I thought that was pretty cool.
But yeah, there's a lot to it when it comes to that game. So
Yes, and Wild Arms
Good
2
choice.
is actually there in the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Movies were inducted that one last year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah.
I should really keep up on this crap more
Right,
often,
so
so
it's
I
to
apologize for that.
No, he just makes sure he gets every obscure game in every year. Like
That's
just
what
so
I
he can
do.
keep the consistency going.
Yeah,
I
he's
actually
been
forget where I
he's
even
been
came
consistently
across
with him.
Wild Arms 2. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
He's been consistent with him. I'll admit that.
Yeah. Also, Contrail did Alundra 2. I mean.
Oh, cool.
That's a really fucking awesome RPG franchise. But yeah, they definitely have a good track history.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, that's Legend of Legaia. So.
With
Alright,
a mix of other games brought in.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of got a little sidetracked there,
Well,
but that's the way it goes.
that's the way it
sometimes.
goes.
Very true. Alrighty, I think that segue will work into our next segue here, into our third game here, nominated by our good friend LP Grotus. I apologize in advance for the name butchering I'm about to do. Rosenkruzstilette Frudenstachel. I think I got that mostly okay. It is a...
You just offended basically every German in history right now.
I probably did,
They're all
so
like
I do
shaking
apologize
their
for
fucking
that.
head and ready, just shaking their fists very angrily at the.
I'll embrace the shame. I tried my best though, so I mean, from what I understand, yeah, this game is a 2D side-scrolling action game on PC, on Steam for that matter. You guys know more about it than I do, I believe.
It's basically Mega Man with anime girls.
Yep.
So
Interesting combo.
yeah. So the art style is like heavily inspired by like a lot of older games of like what it's borrowing from. Obviously, the Mega Man genre, as we would call it.
Hmm.
The level select, the platform and the shooting and stuff, all
Right.
Mega Man stuff. But like, it also borrows ideas from Creon Conquest, which is a really fucking obscure Nintendo game that I'm sure nobody's ever heard of before except for me.
I can say I have not heard of that.
Vice
Okay,
versa.
well, it's
Same
a
here.
really good it's a really good Nintendo game. I would seriously go check it out. But it borrows a lot from both games. Obviously, Creon Conquest kind of like borrowed from Mega Man as well, but like these games all kind of they borrow from each other, but they do something unique. So
Okay.
Rosenkruzstilette is like it's very fast. It's very fluid. It plays really well. Like any fuck up that you do is your own fault. It's not the game's. It's a very, very tight game. It just plays really well. It's got awesome music. Just boss fights are unique. It's really fucking hard too. If I didn't mention that enough, this game will kick your ass.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the original Mega Man in a way, or one of the original Mega Mans. That the game will kick your ass. Like it's.
But this game is harder than Mega Man in my opinion. But it also references a lot of other games like Castlevania, which is really cool. Like the entire final levels. Spoiler, not that it really matters because the game's ridiculously short anyway. The entire end game is pretty much Castlevania related.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's a really cool. Just everything about the game is absolutely wonderful and really well made.
Okay.
It's a very tight game and definitely worth checking out for sure.
Now, real quick, do you guys happen to know what the game's title translates to in English by chance? I was curious about that one actually.
I have no idea actually. I don't know if there is like an English name for it.
I'm gonna be brave.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna Google Translate it and see what comes up. I think I don't think there's gonna be anything.
A friend of mine told me. Well, actually, I think I might know the English things. I remember a conversation with a German friend of mine who actually told me that it's Stilettos of the Rose Cross. I do remember this because I had this conversation before with a friend of mine, and like if I'm wrong on that, then correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember being told that English translation. But yeah, that's what I remember. And like that's a good name for what it is. Obviously, they kept the German name for some reason.
Yeah, you don't want to know what it is according to Google.
Yeah, it's ridiculously hard to find on Steam because like it's just one of those words that's just fucking ridiculous to spell. Like
apparently, from
I
what
don't think
see
anybody's
here,
gonna get that right in the first try.
But what I see here, actually, I'm doing a Twitter Doodle search myself. Honestly, Blades of the Rose Cross. At least for the first part of that title, anyway. At least from a quick Google search, not my own knowledge at all.
Yeah, it's got some name to it. Like I was told, there's Stilettos of the Rose Cross, but like it could be different from for other people.
Very true.
But like I said, people that are from that culture itself will probably like have different translations of it. But I'm sure that's the developer's intention.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense for how the games actually look. You got a female protagonist. All the bosses are mainly female. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, and the main character's name is Spiritia, if I'm correct, right? Which is a reference to... It's some kind of reference. I can't remember. But most of the things are references to like other anime and a bunch of other like old obscure arcade games. There are like anime style arcade games that also, are in reference as well. But yeah, like I said, this is a really good game for what it is. It is on Steam for $10.
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with that. And it's like I said, it's got really tight controls. Like I said, anything that you fuck up on is your own fault because that game, I can't really complain about anything in regards to like level design choice or whatever. So, it's definitely really well made. So.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Alright, so now it might be time for the long discussion now for this one. I got a feeling this one's going to be probably one of the longest discussion games anyway.
Alright, so our next game is Final Fantasy V. Now this is the Game Boy Advanced version, which is Final Fantasy V Advanced. A remake of the original, which I mean, technically it's not a remake. It's just a port, but with added stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, most people will say, like obviously say it's a remake, but obviously developed by Square. It's been inducted by Dovey, aka Sephiroth 1204,
Mm-hmm.
and thank you for putting this in the Hall of Fame, because this is actually one of my favorite Final Fantasy games.
Same here.
That's the reason that Cole is like so hesitant about it. He's like, "This is gonna be the longest discussion."
We'll try to keep it as short as we can because we do still have a handful of games left to go.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I've estimated about an hour for this, so yeah, we can take as much time as we
Yeah.
need.
Okay.
It's very vague, but pretty much, like, you play as a dude who, like, a traveler, which is one of the most unique things. Like, the main character isn't, like, a generic soldier or whatever. Bart himself is just a dude who travels around in his fucking chocobo. And,
Mhm.
like, just looks for, like, explores the world. He's like
Exactly
he's
right.
like-
Yeah, just
He's like
has a
one
good
of those
time of it.
explorers. Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
good time with just traveling and stuff. And it's one of those times where, for once, a game follows that without following the cliche of having a prince or a fucking knight or a soldier or shit
Yeah,
like that.
some hero descended from legend or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is all good when it's done
Which-
right. But
Yeah, but Final Fantasy V has a unique personality to it to, like, show that, not everyone needs to be a soldier to be, someone who could kick ass.
it's exactly right.
And this is one of the few games where, like, it utilizes the ability to have jobs in
Mhm.
the best way possible. While 3 did it first in Japan, 5 just did it better.
Exactly
because
right.
They did it in a clever way to where, like, your characters all kind of share a unique trait, and they all have different ways of building and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
there's characters that are better with magic, or characters that are better with debuffs, or just support physical things like that. Like, there's a lot to it. Obviously, the story is not that complex. Definitely, if you pay attention and stuff, the story kind of, like, really evolves the more you play it.
Mhm.
And some new characters get added to, and you want to learn more about them. And that's the thing about Final Fantasy V that does right. You want to learn about these characters, and that's what
Yeah.
they did. That's what they did with Bart. That's what they did with Ferris, Galuf, Creel, Lena. Like, they want you to learn about these characters. That's why they're thrown in the first place. They all have a
Yep,
connection
and they did
to
a
one
great
another.
job.
Yeah.
Yep, and they did a great job of fleshing out their backstories throughout the game. Each character
Yeah.
gets their own time to shine. Like Bart's with his hometown, Lena and Fair's learning, spoilers, that they're sisters.
Yeah.
Galuf and Krill, or I always called her Krilly, or Kryl. I just kind of mix them
I
both.
pronounce
don't
it Creel.
Creel, okay.
So, yeah. But, like, the granddaughter of Galuf, like, that's the thing, too, is, like, there's so much to it. And, like, you got X-Death as well. You want to learn more about him, and you find out how much of a badass he is, because, like,
Mhm.
this guy has the power of the void, and he, like, does all this crazy shit. Like, he's one of the more unique villains, because, like, everyone else has this, like, hunger of power and stuff. This guy just doesn't give a shit.
He just
to,
wants to
like,
destroy everything.
He just wants to destroy every fucking single thing.
Worth
And,
mentioning, too, here real quick, Gilgamesh, one of the best characters in the entire series, in my opinion.
Oh, yes, of course. Who has an uncanny rivalry with fucking Bart's, of all
Mhm.
people.
But there's also a mutual respect there, too. I believe they
yeah,
delve
when
into
you-
that a little bit more in the
Yeah,
Void.
when you beat him, he's like, he wants to keep fighting. He wants to be better than Bart's. And,
Mhm.
but that's the cool thing, is that Gilgamesh plays a big part in the franchise now.
Exactly
Not
right.
just
Yeah,
Final Fantasy V, but, like, he himself is a entity of what the character is in 5, and he stayed consistent through his other reincarnations, like even in fucking Final Fantasy 12.
yeah.
Like, that's what and that's the thing I like about the franchise, is that they have some connection that they stay consistent with.
hmm
And I like that
And-
too. I also like the additions of the dungeons, extra dungeons that they got in there.
Absolutely,
they-
yeah, and the
they
new
did.
job classes as well.
Yeah.
The new job classes and everything. Like the job system is kind of where the game definitely shines, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to mention this just real quick earlier. 3 definitely set the groundwork for the job system in Final Fantasy, well, because it was also the first in the series to do it.
Well, technically the first game did it, but
Oh, yeah, with Final Fantasy 1. But yeah, I guess
Final
more so I
Fantasy
meant that
1,
to choose
but
your own job
yeah,
class.
but the third game definitely set the groundwork to like let you customize freely on what you want, and then
Exactly
5
right, yeah.
5 just kind of reinforced it and made it better.
Yeah, with how much you can do in 5 with the combinations of abilities, both on the character, the class you have on currently equipped, and the ability you can equip as well. There's some crazy combos you can come up with in 5, and that's why I love one of the reasons why I love the game so much.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Final Fantasy 3 US is Final Fantasy 5 Japan.
Final Fantasy 3 US is actually Final Fantasy 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then 3, as in like original 3 with the Onion Kids, that never came out here in the States until the DS version.
Yeah, until recently.
Yeah, and 4 came out earlier than
4.
that.
Yeah, 4 is basically 2 in the U.S., which...
Yeah, because that was the actual second Final Fantasy game to come out in the States, as I recall.
Yeah, that was their way of, like, covering the gap, but they realized how fucking much of a loophole it was when they made the jump to 7.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because you went
really big fuck up on their part.
Yeah. Yeah, you really couldn't explain that one.
You gotta think about this too, though. Europe got fucked really bad because the only Final Fantasy game they got was Mystic Quest until 7 came out.
Exactly right. Now, I want to say for Mystic Quest, I know it's not in the Hall of Fame or anything, but for what it is, I enjoy the game. I know it gets a bad rap for being like too easy, but that's really how it was made. It was made to be a simple game, and that's what it did.
I thought it was mediocre, but mostly just because I'm a guy who like really, is heavy into RPGs, and I can definitely say it's a weak game for what it is. But you know what? It's for beginners. It's for people that get into RPGs and stuff. So I can understand why it was made.
Exactly right. So yeah, I'm fine with that. But yeah, that's why it was made. But anyway, yeah, back to 5. Cole touched on it there with the new content. The Gladiator out of the new job classes there is definitely my favorite amongst the new ones.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about 5 Advances, that they added more stuff to it. It's simply like, I wouldn't say it's more of a remake, more so like an enhanced port that they wanted to improve on, and they definitely did it right. The translation, some little fix-ups and stuff there here and there. They definitely did everything they could to make the game a lot better.
And one thing with the translations, I mean, really across the Super Nintendo version, the PS1 version, the GBA version, they're all handled really well in my opinion.
For sure.
Yep, and it's just going to keep getting better and better too.
Yeah, for sure. And plus, you got like a huge fan base too that are making fan translations. Like, you got people who actually did a Japanese translation of the original Super Nintendo game, which is my personal choice to play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's definitely fucking awesome to play. 5 Advance is, for me, a game that I would just play on the go, because that's what it's made for. It's just one of those games where you sit down on the bus and just, grind away. That's what they're made for.
Yeah, and I'm so glad they did with Final Fantasies 1 and 2, and then 4, 5, and 6, putting them on the handhelds. Like with 1 and 2 on the GBA, 4 on the GBA and PSP, 5 and 6 on the GBA. I love me some handheld games, so the fact that those great games that I love are on a handheld system makes them even better for me anyway.
Yeah, I'm a handheld guy too. So, yeah, it definitely, it's definitely an amazing game and a really good choice for the Hall of Fame.
And definitely, at least in my opinion, the funniest game in the series.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yep, agreed.
Everything about that game, it's hands down one of the most hilarious games. Just with Gilgamesh and Ferris alone.
Yeah.
Those two make the game.
Yep. That's for sure. But there's another little series to debate too about even all these, which games of whatever series is going to be is the best game. Okay?
Yeah, but
Final
that
Fantasy...
comes down to difference in opinion. In all honesty, like, for me personally, You know what? We'll have a different discussion about that later. I don't want to drain on this whole thing. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes on this game alone. Like I said, this was going to be a long one. But yeah,
that's bound to happen.
Yeah. We'll have this discussion later.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
okay.
Sure.
All right. For the next game, I'm going to introduce here now. There's a little backstory before it goes that one. Much Games had a third co-founder besides Bragg and myself, and his name was Mike Thorne. He left Much Games to join the Navy, and I asked him this year to participate in the Hall of Fame tournament. Now, the tournament itself kind of failed a little bit with people having certain interference on it. I take responsibility on that one. But there is a tournament going on now through our Facebook and Twitter for a future Let's Play out of their games that were, or most of the games that were in that tournament. This game now is The Last of Us, a game that came out in 2013, got a HD remake on PlayStation 4, is getting a sequel, and the storyline to it all is that it surrounds mainly two people. One, it's your main protagonist, who's known as Joel. The other one is Ellie, who he meets 20 years into the future. Why I say to the future on that one is because Joel, in 2013, lost his daughter Sarah when she got shot. And he becomes a member of their group known as the Fireflies, where he has to go through black market deals and either kill people or help people. Anyway, this girl Ellie is an infected person, which he has to take all the way to a place in Salt Lake City by the end of the game. The game has a great storyline. It's virtually known as a third-person shooter. The graphics are pretty amazing too. It's one I would definitely recommend. And it was one of the games that actually won Game of the Year in 2013. Has a big following as well, so if you guys want to chime in on anything on it.
Yeah, from what I've seen and heard, The Last of Us has definitely earned all its accolades for its story, its gameplay, just for being a really emotional tale from start to finish. I myself have not played it, unfortunately. It's another game that's on my list, which is pretty much never-ending, of games I want to play. Shout out, too, because you go into Pittsburgh, which I'm sort of from. I'm outside the city, technically, but close enough, so there's that.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that has a deep narrative. Definitely with a lot of emotional struggles and, in a post-apocalyptic world. Definitely don't have enough of those games, and I'm saying that very sarcastically.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games where the narrative tells a really big story, and it's definitely one of those games where that's what you want to do. You want to keep playing it to kind of learn more about the game's story and what's going on. I've never played the game myself, but I've heard nothing but good things about the game. So
same here.
I look forward to playing it at some point.
Yeah, I believe Dave McCauley of Fuse 4 Network has played the game. I think he did a Let's Play on it.
Oh, wow.
As well, if memory serves me correct. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
He could have done that.
yeah, it's definitely something.
He does a lot of games.
I know, but he definitely is something compelling. Like, the story does keep you in it for the long haul. Like, I've played a bit of it. I really want to get back into it. Just stuck on the part that's just at the beginning of the game. Like, I just met Ellie. She tells me that she's been infected for about, I think it's a week. And yeah. No, 3 weeks ago. Sorry, I had to look at the page. Yeah, I thought I was thinking a week, but yeah, 3 weeks. Okay.
Oh, no problem.
That makes more sense. But yeah, Virtuous, I do enjoy the game and definitely deserves its spot here.
Yeah, one thing I'm curious with its story, I don't know how the game ends, but in regards to its sequel, I'm assuming it'll, of course, take place sometime shortly thereafter the first game ended, or maybe even like immediately after the first game ends. I don't know if that's actually known yet at this point in its development or what.
Isn't Ellie like a lot older in the second game?
I would assume so, though I don't know for sure.
Because she was just like a kid when in the first game, so I'm assuming it definitely takes place like a couple of years after. I'm not too sure. I haven't really followed what they're doing with that game. So,
Nor have I.
yeah.
Well, they've stirred up a lot of controversy. Naughty Dog, their creators, they've stirred up some controversy with that game too, where they've shown Ellie kissing another girl in the preview. Again, the
I
trailer.
think I do remember hearing a little bit about that.
I remember that.
Yeah, looking at the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I remember that one clear as day because I seen Twitter go off on it.
Mm-hmm. And I was just saying, too, I'm looking at the title picture here, at least for Ellie. Yeah, I would have to say like 12 or 13 for the age. So yeah, what Mooper was saying, yeah, could not be that old really. So she probably is a good few years older come The Last of Us 2. I mean, again, I'm guessing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume she's probably like say 18.
It'd be a good guess.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think. But yeah, I was just gonna say in summary, even though I've not played the game, I'm still well aware of its accolades on multiple fronts. There, yeah, especially its story there, and again, it has absolutely earned all of its praise and then some. So I'd say a worthy nomination for the Hall of Fame, to be sure.
Agreed.
And speaking of worthwhile nominees for the Hall of Fame,
Segue.
cracking my knuckles here for this one. Yours truly, Mr. Movies87, has nominated our next game, Precipice of Darkness 3, released on a bevy of systems and consoles, actually. Well, most notably on PC/Steam. It was on iOS for a while. It's actually not anymore. They've stopped updating that. It's also on Android. I actually have that on my Samsung Galaxy tablet, so me having a game handheld, blah, 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 great deal. This game really means a lot to me personally. This was made by it's a collab project between Penny Arcade and Z-Boyd Games. You guys might know Z-Boyd from Cthulhu Saves the World.
Yeah, Breath
Yep.
of Death 7.
Breath of Death
Those
7.
games are wonderful.
Those
Wonderful
games are
sense of humor.
Fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Love those games to death. But yeah, Precipice of Darkness 3 was actually really my first foray into Penny Arcade anything. I think actually Dovey gifted me episodes 3 and 4. They were in a bundle on sale. This was a couple of years ago. And then I myself bought episodes 1 and 2. And actually, I'll talk about the differences of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in a minute because they're vastly different games altogether. But then after that, yeah, I got into the other comics, their streams, all that good stuff there, and I've been a fan of Penny Arcade for quite a while. And there is some backstory here to the series as a whole. Episodes 1 and 2 came out in 2008 and 2009, respectively, developed by Penny Arcade and Hothead Games, actually. Completely different art styles. 1 and 2 were more of the 2D/3D comic style, actually, like 3D gameplay with 2D comic-style cutscenes and such. But from what I understand, there's actually a bit of a falling out between Penny Arcade and Hothead Games. I don't fully know why. So the series was actually defunct for a little while until Penny Arcade's president, Robert Koo, contacted Z-Boyd Games to pick up the series again for episodes 3 and 4, which came out in 2013 and 2014. Z-Boyd took their usual style of 16-bit retro-style RPGs and applied it to the writer Jerry Holkin's amazing writing style, by the way, for the game. And episodes 3 and 4 are freaking wonderful games, honestly. Of course, I love supporting indie developers, so that's a huge bonus there. I'm not sure if you guys have played either of them by chance, 3 or 4, or 1 and 2 for that matter.
I got 3 on my laptop. I noticed that not that long ago.
Okay, nice.
I think I might have one of them. I can't remember, but like I've never played the games. They remind me a little bit of Charles Barkley, that Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Oh yeah.
Like gameplay wise,
Mhm.
obviously they're not similar. It's just that's what it reminds me of. But I've never actually played the games, but they look pretty good.
Oh yeah. But one thing that's cool, at least with episode 3's case here, you actually don't need to play 1 and 2 beforehand to pick up the story, because very early on, in the main characters, Tycho and Gabe's detective agency, there's a couple of statues you can talk to right in the very first room of the game, in the office, that will give you a quick backstory on episodes 1 and 2 to bring you up to speed. Now, obviously, I recommend playing 1 and 2, of course, because it's Penny Arcade. They're great games. You should play them. Go do it right now.
After this video.
Exactly right. Go buy them right now, or hell, I'll buy them for you. If I could, I would, honestly. But anyway, so as far as gameplay goes for Precipice 3, again, Z-Boy 16 style graphics and such. But they have their main thing is what's known as the class pin system. You pick up sets of class pins throughout the game, which are essentially your job classes. Each character has their default one, so like Final Fantasy V, for example, sort of there. Tycho's class is Scholar, Gabe is Brute, Tycho's ex-wife, Moira Zozan, is Gumshoe. She's a detective as well. And your last character, Jim, who is literally a skull head in a jar, his is Necromaster. And then you pick up 12, I think it's 12? Yeah, 12 more class pins throughout the game. So you're able to have up to 3 total. So there's a lot of cool combos you can do there as well with different abilities, both passive abilities and, of course, just usable abilities and such there. So there's really a lot of depth to the combat as well. The soundtrack as well, just want to delve into that real quick, made by Hyperduck Studios, I believe it is, for episodes 3 and 4. Did a tremendous job on that. And special note there, episode 4 of Tycho's theme, you guys absolutely, you two here and everybody watching, go look up that video right now and enjoy that song. You'll thank me later.
All right. I will when I get the chance.
Yeah, same here.
Maybe that'll stop me from listening to Deadlock.
I will tell you, it is
that's an amazing band. So. But
yeah, it is a pretty. It's a pretty short song, only I think 2 minutes ish. So yeah, it's definitely well worth it though. And they also added one thing I like. They've added some free DLC throughout the game's launch there for episode 3. A couple new dungeons there. The one actually it's cool. It's the Seamstress's Lair. How it works actually, your characters revert back to level 1 at the very start. Still all the same class pins you had before, but actually each fight you win, your characters will gain a set 2 levels after each one until the very end. The level cap is 40, which you'll reach at the very end anyway. And you fight the Seamstress herself, which is a really, really damn hard fight, but well worth it because the Seamstress class pin is really, really good. But really, overall, 3 and 4, and also 1 and 2, are all tremendous games. If you're a fan of the 16-bit retro style, I highly recommend 3 and 4 there for sure. They're usually on sale on Steam pretty often, or when they're not, they're like $5 a piece or whatever, or maybe 5 or 8, somewhere in that ballpark. But I cannot recommend them enough for any RPG fan out there for sure. Okay, I could probably go on more actually. Let's go ahead and move on. What was our next game? I don't recall actually.
Why don't I just say our next game?
Sure.
So this next game was made by Rareware, or however you want to say it. I'm going to say Rare for now. Back when the Nintendo 64 was starting to wind down before the GameCube came into play. Now, the game's Conker's Bad Fur Day, and this is an interesting choice for the Hall of Fame. Colette L180 decided to put this in. Because she's my wife, I love her, and she has weird taste in games. But anyway, moving on to the other part is that this game starts off with what a lot of people are going to say criticize Nintendo's part of how they're always into children's games. Rare decided, well, let's up the ante. They scrapped the entire original. This is what I do enjoy about this part. They scrapped the original part of what Conker's game was going to be, and decided that we're going to put in an alcoholic, foul-mouthed squirrel. And that's literally what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to point out, is Conker was never like that.
No, if you ever seen him play Diddy Kong Racing, he was actually sober.
Oh, wow.
Well, he also had a couple Game Boy games as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, there was a Conker game on the Game Boy Color, and I think that's it. But he didn't have some kind of fan base before he came into Diddy Kong Racing. Obviously, Conker's Bad Fur Days, where he really got his stardom for the wrong reasons. But but yeah, a drunk foul-mouthed squirrel. Who would have thought?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yet,
And I think wasn't I was gonna say wasn't Contra's Bad Fur Day probably the N64's first M-rated game, possibly only M-rated game. I might be wrong on that one, but it's definitely obviously it's M-rated. But yeah, one of the first maybe.
nope. There's Resident Evil 2 on the N64.
Okay.
Vigilante 8? Or Vigilante 8's Second Offense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Vigilante, it's such a good game.
It is. And I believe that they're rated M for mature as well. So there are some.
okay. Did not know that.
And Mortal Kombat.
And Mortal Kombat, yeah. Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
4.
Mortal Kombat
That
was on there as well.
made sense.
Actually, yeah, and Mythology Sub-Zero.
Yep. Turok. Can't forget about those.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a
What?
Duke Nukem game out for it, too. Could be wrong on that one.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there
Oh,
is.
okay.
There is a Duke Nukem on N64.
And there is also a Doom on N64 as well.
Yes. They were all really, really good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing.
N64 did have a plethora of violent games. It's
Yeah.
just,
I did not know that.
most of them were kind of ports, but they were all like really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah.
But for this one right here, some of the bosses in Conker's Bad Fur Day, we'll get back to that one right there, are really messed up. You got to take
Yeah,
on
the
a
one-
barrel of hay. That's the one boss. A bull, who in order to defeat the bull, okay, and I cannot even joke on this one. In order to defeat the bull, you've got to get cows to drink prune juice, so the cows can go have a shit, and then you got to ram the bull into the cows.
Yeah, this game, I've seen videos of it. I've not played it myself, but needless to say, it sounds like it's quite the trip. And as you guys were talking about earlier, there's a lot of movie references, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One other boss to mention, though, too, before we get into the movie references, the Great Mighty Pooh.
Yes, that's pretty much whenever I think of the game, that's like the one thing that I do remember quite distinctly of all things.
Yes. And
But I mean,
We're
it's
also forgetting about that one boss with the fucking furnace with those big balls.
Yep. I know exactly who you're talking about.
The big brass balls.
Yep.
Oh, that was like my favorite fucking part of that game. Had me dying.
Yeah, me personally, I actually never had an N64 growing up, so all those great games like this, say Ocarina of Time, for example, because you have to mention that, I missed out on those actually. Growing up, had regular NES first, and then Super Nintendo, and then went over to PS1 actually. So yeah, PS1, PS2, and then Nintendo's handhelds. But yeah, for whatever reason, just didn't want an N64 when we were growing up. I don't really know why. I'm sure we would have enjoyed it, but I mean, there's that. But yeah, this one, I mean, it's a platformer, and while I'm not good at platformers, I will say I do love platformers, though.
Yeah,
Just throwing that out there.
It's a very unique platformer.
Mhm.
It's tricky at times, but like it's one of those games that like to mix up a lot of its gameplay elements, so you're not always doing the same thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Every level you're in. So, yeah,
But
it's just one of those progression things where every gameplay aspect is completely different.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
and there is a bunch of, like you said before, movies. There is a bunch of movie references. The Matrix being one, Saving Private Ryan being another. As
Yeah, Clockwork Orange, Jaws.
Yep.
I think there's a Jurassic Park reference in there too. Alien as well. Can't forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot about the Alien reference.
Yes, because the alien
I'm
reference
like,
just happens to be with the final boss.
Yeah, and I'm actually a huge fan of the Alien franchise, so I feel so bad for not forgetting about that. But yeah, there is an Alien reference too, so, and it's pretty damn good. But yeah, it's just got a plethora of fucking dumb movie references, and not dumb as in like it's a stupid game. It's just they're all clever in their own way.
Dracula.
Yeah. The question is which Dracula are they? It's not Bram Stoker's, I know that. It could be that. I can't...
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if I said Stroker, I meant Stoker. Apparently I'm stupid and I had an R in there and I didn't mean to. So people are gonna,
It's all good.
all the movie buffs are gonna be like, fuck that guy, he said it wrong. But no, yeah, it could be any Dracula, like, it could be Son of Dracula for all we know. But, no. Yeah, it's got a lot of movie references, and they're all corny and hilarious, so. Yeah. Definitely really funny.
So while we went with the corny game of their 2018 Hall of Fame, why don't we go on to something a bit better?
We're going with one of arguably the best Castlevania games. Castlevania, Order of Ecclesia. And that is submitted or inducted. Why did I say submitted? Inducted by Samurai TX90, right? Is that
I believe
That's
so.
his name, yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
I almost said 80. I was like, ooh. he would kill me for getting his name wrong. But no, Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. Metroidvania, basically in the same realm that Symphony of the Night is in.
Mm-hmm.
We got a new character named Shinoa. Pretty much, she has a really big story, like a really big plot. Like, she's one of the more interesting characters they added in the Castlevania universe. And basically, she has the power to, she gets glyphs through the tattoo on her back. So she can absorb powers based on, like, the enemy she kills and stuff. And you can get a bunch of cool little power-ups and stuff. And, level designs, fantastic. Like I said, it's a Metroidvania, so you're bound to, like, do a lot of exploring. So, and it's got RPG elements, just like Symphony of the Night, because that's what all the DS games are like. They're all Metroidvanias or RPG elements. It's got some of the best boss battles in Castlevania history.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, the boss fights are insane in that game. It's definitely the most unique, because you're not playing as someone with a whip or a sword and stuff. You're playing with someone who can manipulate spells. You know,
oh, wow.
The power of stone fists or light balls and just magic, all kinds of magic. You have all that in your disposal, and it's one of the most unique games because you can combine those spells, and you can just do a bunch of crazy stuff, and it's insane. It's an addicting game. It's fun. The character is amazing. Like, there's nothing more I could say to it other than, like, it's one of the best Castlevanias in my opinion on the DS. Next to Portrait of Ruin, which was my favorite until Order of Ecclesia came out.
And you've pretty much sold me on this, it sounds like, because it's an RPG / platform, which, again, I love both of those.
If you played Symphony of the Night, then you've played Order of Ecclesia. So.
Did he hate me for this? Because I have actually not played it. I've never played a Castlevania game at all.
Okay.
I'm so sorry for saying that.
Are you familiar with Metroid at all, with the exploration?
You've played
familiar,
Metroid.
Yes.
Okay, then you'll
Familiar?
like this.
Yeah.
Then you'll like this game because you're going to be doing it a lot.
That sounds good.
But it's
I'm
done
on board.
it's done in a way where it's linear, so you're not like always, getting stuck. You're doing a lot of backtracking, sure. Like most of the time, you're just exploring and stuff, and just kind of progressing through there. But yeah, it does have one of the most unique. It has an awesome system, like a battle system. It's very fluid. It's got some of the best boss fights in Castlevania history, and plus the main character is amazing. Her story, her plot, like everything about her is just absolutely fantastic. Like her personality is wonderful. So,
now, is she herself part of the Belmont clan or anything, or is she like
no,
her own?
She's her own like thing.
Oh, okay.
She's part of her own, like clan. Like she's a entirely new character that got added into the game.
Yep.
So
Do I get points for knowing about the Belmont clan?
yes.
Yes. Okay, we're good.
But the question is, you know what? As a Castlevania fanboy, who's your favorite Belmont? And don't say Trevor, because I swear to fucking God.
I barely know who Trevor is. I believe
Castlevania
there's,
3.
I think there's Simon and Richter.
Richter, yeah.
Simon, I know for sure. Is Richter a Belmont as well?
Yes, he is.
Okay. I honestly don't know enough about either one of them because again I haven't played any of the games. So can I just default say Simon?
Yes.
Awesome.
Good
We're
boy. Good boy. Mine is actually Richter because.
Yeah, I like Victor
aka
too. Victor's really like one of the best Belmonts you can have.
Oh my God, the jump kick he does! I'm so glad
Yeah.
they put that in Smash, man. That was awesome that they fucking referenced that.
Yeah, that
yeah.
needed to be in there, really.
Yeah, that's Richter's thing. Like Simon doesn't have that. That's the only way you can differentiate those characters' movesets by having that kick alone.
I just hope that nobody battles in the Wind Waker,
Dracula's
in the
Castle?
Wind Waker 1, where there's water in the Wind Waker fighting stage, because Simon can't swim.
He's just
Oh.
well, neither can Sonic.
That is true.
The motherfucker drowns without bubbles, man. There ain't no bubbles in fucking Wind Waker stage. Come on now. Unless you like count the suds that come underneath the freaking rudders and stuff. But,
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I don't think there's a big one enough for that.
no. No inhaling bubbles in this fucking world.
No.
But no, but yeah, it's a fantastic game. Go buy it. Go play it.
Yes, for sure. So I guess we could move on to game number 9.
Sure. We can do that. And actually, mind if I take this one? I haven't done an intro for a game for a little while.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, if I may, our next game nominated by... I forget who nominated this one, actually.
He is going under a different YouTube name when he sets up his account, but right now we're
Okay.
going to say Bossy Dog.
Okay, Bossy Dog nominated this one. Spelunky. The PC version of Spelunky, actually, came out as freeware for Microsoft Windows, and also, what else did it come out on? What was it? 360 and
It was
PS3?
It's on every console. If I'm
Oh, it is on every console? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That I did
It's
not
on,
know.
I think it's on PS4. I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it's on PS3, PS.
Let's see, PS4? Actually, yeah, it is on PS4 as well. I just did a quick look up of that. Came out
Yeah, it's
2014.
It's on most of the consoles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And this one has been on my list to try out as well. I mean, the title suggests Spelunky. You play as a spelunker, as I recall. I mean, that makes sense. Beyond that, I don't know much about the game, actually. I've seen videos and such of it. I know that it is a platformer, for one thing. If you guys want to chime in some more, by all means.
There is a platformer. It
Okay.
Yeah.
does have elements because you're literally just pretty much going deep into the cave, virtually into the center of the earth. That's what you're doing. You're spelunking down.
Okay.
Now, you got shops in the game. And you got... this game is very friggin' addicting, too, might I add. But you can actually do stuff with a shopkeep. You can purchase stuff from a shopkeep. You can actually rob from a shopkeeper, which might not be the best of ideas. They carry shotguns.
Yeah, I was gonna
Ouch.
say, never blow your load, or they'll blow your face.
Yep.
Words to live by.
Yeah.
And there's also a black market into the game, where
Interesting.
there is nothing but shopkeep. So if you piss off a shopkeep earlier and then enter the black market, have fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You also got to get an item called the Ankh, I think, in order to get into the black market too. And the funny thing is, in this one, there is the stupidest ways you could possibly die, and yet it's so addicting because you want to go back at it again and see how far down you can get.
One of those
Oh,
things
yeah.
like you get a little further each time you play, and you're like, okay, I can do better. I can get further, and then 4 hours later,
It's kind of like Celeste in a way.
Yep.
And-
I
and
need to
game-
play that damn game
And
sometime.
that game is made for speedrunning. But it's like one of those addicting games where if you keep dying, you just want to keep playing more and more until you get further.
Yep. Or in my case, you regress.
Yes. But Spelunky is pretty fun. It's definitely got a lot of unique personality traits to it. The character itself, obviously, you're a miner, or in a way you could call yourself like he's like Indiana Jones in a way too. He's a mixture between those two.
It's oddly
But,
enough you've seen that, because I was actually literally thinking Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but you pretty much fight enemies. You get point A to point B basically without dying, obviously, and it's a fun little time killer. It's not really something you play to beat. It's just like you just want to keep playing it just to kill time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
Nothing wrong with that.
But I mean,
That's
there
what
is
the game's
there
made
is a
for.
final boss in the game. There's only one boss in the game, which is literally the final boss. And
Yeah.
after that, you finish it, you literally escape from it. He's like down at the bottom in the depths of hell.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
but it is one of those games where you just play to have fun. Like,
Yep.
It's a goofy, fun little time killer. Obviously, there is a reward at the end when you get that far. So it's not like all that time you put into the game is going to waste.
Nope, that's for sure.
It is a game that ends. So
But getting to the end is how you guys could decide. You guys gotta try to be fair. You definitely gotta watch out for some of the plants in the jungle too, because I don't know how many times I got eaten by them.
Ooh, what a way to go.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I'm trying to get away from a black market guy after robbing a shotgun off of him, and I couldn't kill him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So if those flowers are also gay, we would call those the penis fly traps, right?
Indeed you could. Indeed you could.
You can actually play as Meat Boy in the game. You can unlock characters throughout. So just imagine.
Oh yeah, I
Interesting.
forgot about that.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Just imagine playing as Meat Boy, and the plant eats Meat Boy.
Oh yeah, man, tasty. Raw meat, my
Crossover.
favorite.
Yeah.
Definitely not gonna get salmonella or anything.
Oh no,
No.
you're good. You're good.
So what do we move on to the final game here?
Sounds like a plan.
So the final game, there's already been 2 others inducted from the series into the Hall of Fame, the original and number 10. But this one was actually inducted by the Jude 22. Mega Man 5 for the NES.
Oh boy.
It's already been Let's Play It on the channel by Samurai as well, so...
Bonus points for that.
Yeah. Funny enough. It's a Mega Man game. It has really good music, some okay levels. I can't give a good opinion on this game. I'm sorry, guys.
That's
I'm
okay.
trying.
That's okay.
Yeah, but what
it does have...
I'm trying.
Like, it does have its good moments. I mean... For Mega Man games, it's probably like the NES versions. It's not ranked up there, right?
Yeah, from what I've seen slash heard slash read, what have you, it's a solid game in the franchise, but like it doesn't do anything to blow you away. Like, do I have that right? Like with its level design and things like that, it kind of just
See, that's the point I was going to make, is that it's not like the most unique as far as level design goes. I feel like some of these levels, like, I think the only thing that really stood out to me was Wave Man stage with the little jet bike you had.
Yep.
That was a fun little level. But there was really nothing out of that game that really stood out to me. Maybe like Gravity Man stage, his stage was pretty cool. But like the levels to me weren't like very inspiring, or they weren't inspired at all. I felt like they were a little bit lazy, but the music obviously was really good in those games. The end game is it's not the best. It's not the best. It's not worth getting through just because of how stupidly lazy they got with some of the bosses in it. It's a good game, but not the best in the series.
Now, one thing I wanted to mention, tying back in to the level design and boss fights and such, I have to wonder if the developers of the game were maybe getting burnt out at all. Is that a possibility? Because didn't they crank these out pretty frequently back in that day?
But they made up with Mega Man 6, though, because that was kind of really late in the Nintendo's lifespan, because it came out in '93.
Yep.
Which was 2 years after the Super Nintendo was released. Yeah, it was pretty damn late. But this was the last game that came out, and quite honestly, it sucks because this game was really fucking good. Like, it's arguably what I would say probably the third best Mega Man game in the series. 5, I personally think it was a weak entry, but I'm sure other people will think of it differently. But it was a fun game for what it is, but there are certain parts in it that don't really sit well for me.
Okay.
But it's a unique game. It's fun to play. It's Mega Man. It's got some unique boss fights. It's got some fun weapons to use too. It's unique in its own regard. Definitely stands out from the rest of them, but not, in my personal opinion, not my favorite.
Okay.
No, I kind of agree with you. It's not my favorite neither. Like, the bosses probably wouldn't stand out big lot to me, or like Wave Man or Gravity Man. The Wily stages are not really the greatest. They could have done better in that one.
Well, the Proto Man stages is what kind of like made me not want to play it, because they were annoying. Like the Wily stages weren't too bad, but the Proto Man stages, good lord, some of the platforming you have to do is like the most awkward thing I've ever seen. There's like at one point where you have to jump across like some gaps with spikes, and it's like, it's so dumb. It's really fucking dumb. And even in the Wily stages got really lazy with that too, because there's at some points where like you have to go against these conveyor belts and you have to platform, and it's like, good lord, I want to rip my hair out.
Jeez. Ouch.
At least the Wily bosses were fun.
Yeah.
The Breakman bosses weren't that great though. They were stupid. Unless you get beat. Which, also, actually, that's a good segue for me too. There's collectibles in Mega Man 5. It's one of the first games to have collectibles.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, you have to collect letters, which I think is kind of cool. It gives a nice little personality to the game where, you get to collect things. And that's kind of where Mega Man X and all that kind of got its inspiration from, where they started throwing collectibles everywhere.
Yeah, because the collectible is you got to spell out the word Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, and 6 did the same thing, but they did it where you didn't have to collect them. You had to go through different routes, which I liked better because, like, depending on the route you take, you get the you get the letters instead of just looking everywhere for the fucking letters. Which, I mean, at some point, some of them were put in really dumb spots. Like in Wave Man stage, you literally have to jump as soon as you transitioned on the screen.
Oh,
Or
that's
you'll
rough.
miss it. Yeah, or you'll miss it. It's like really dumb. But yeah, some of them were put in dumb places. But I mean, that's one of the things I'll give the game credit for, is at least it tried to mix up like the formula a little bit to make you like be on your toes getting the collectibles and stuff. So I'll give it some credit.
Yeah,
It's clever with that.
It did come out very clever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But that's...
So go on.
well,
Sorry.
I was going to cut it off here. That's pretty much it now for the Hall of Fame. That's the 10 games. So, quick review. We have Contra, Legend of Legaia, Rosenkruzstilette Frudenstachel. I hope I actually pronounced that one right.
Probably better than I did.
You just triggered all the Germans, dude.
And they just calmed down, too,
I know.
from my butchering of it earlier.
Final Fantasy V Advance, The Last of Us, Precipice of Darkness 3. I hope I pronounced that one right.
You are good on that one.
Okay, sounds good to me. Conker's Bad Fur Day, Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, Spelunky, and Mega Man 5.
Quite the list. Quite the list.
Yeah.
That's a really good list of games.
So that brings the Much Games Hall of Fame now up to 130 games.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Damn. That's bonkers, dude.
I mean, you guys mentioned some
It's
games.
conkers.
Yeah.
Shut up. You're not helping your case.
I regret nothing. I regret
You just
nothing.
ruined this whole video with that bad pun.
That's what I make puns, okay? It's what I do.
If you ever watch,
Okay,
if you ever
okay,
watch his
okay,
Super Mario RPG Let's Play, there are puns in there.
Oh my god, absolutely. It's punderful.
I was planning on LPing that game too, and damn it, I don't even know if I could top the dumb puns that you do in that.
They just come to me.
My commentary is just all insightful and shit, and it's like I don't even want to try to be funny. I just want to play the game. Like I'm awful at telling jokes in my own videos.
But to be fair, sometimes the game gives you the jokes.
Yeah, it's puts
I mean,
material in
that's-
front of you.
I mean, that is a given. Like how you fight cake.
Yeah, I mean that.
I
I
mean,
mean, come on. What more needs to be said?
I mean, I don't want to fight the cake. I want to fucking eat that shit.
Yeah.
I always love how at the end of that fight, Booster literally swallows the cake whole. I have no idea how the hell he does it. He just goes. "Blah, blah, 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 blah."
That dude is a goddamn fucking competitive eater, man. He's like,
Oh my god, absolutely.
he's like the Matt Stoney of fucking villains.
Yeah.
But
But interesting fact for
Anyway.
this year. Now that we got all 10 games announced, this is the first year out of all the Hall of Fame games, this is the 13th running of their Hall of Fame, and not one Mario game this year at all.
That is true. Didn't even catch that before.
wait, what? What happened?
There's
missed that.
never been. This is the first year that a Mario game has not been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
I mean, of all the games, like personally, I feel that one that's definitely good for the future is Super Mario RPG. Seeing how we were just talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm planning to do that on my own channel, so
Yeah, Movies is currently doing it on Much Games from started a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, I need to get back to working on that. And what I'm trying to do actually with that
you
episode.
still haven't finished it?
No, I know. No.
And it's
I
not.
was gonna say,
It's not the longest Let's Play on the channel active.
I know. But one thing I want to try to do with that actually, whenever I am able to record it, is do longer episodes of it. Like the last one I did was like 45 minutes long, and I covered a lot of ground in that actually. So if I did just rock out a few more of those, even like 3 or well, maybe not 3 or 4, maybe like 5 or 6 episodes of that length, and the LP will be done. So I mean, if anyone watches that out here, if I didn't have that done by the end of the calendar year, thumbs up. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yes, because then you can probably move on to a different project, whichever one you want.
That's true, and I have no idea what I want to do for that. Although I have time to worry about that later, so
That is
we
true.
will get to that in due time.
All right, so that's pretty much it. That's the Much Games Hall of Fame class of 2018. So, I guess we'll see everyone here again in 2019 when
Yep.
other people or
Have a
even more people could be adding on to this.
hopefully we'll have a brand new list of games for y'all. This was actually really cool to do. A lot of these games I had really never knew much about beforehand, and just talking with you guys for the last hour and a half about these, I'm really interested in all these games now to try them out. Besides the ones I've already played.
Yeah. I've played like half of these games. Some of these
Mhm.
games I've like either barely played or some of them I just know really well.
Yeah.
Obviously the ones that I announced are the ones I'm familiar with. That's why you gave me them in the first place. so,
Yeah, pretty much.
so yeah.
All right, so you can always check out some of the games on our Much Games website, muchgames.ca. You can also, down in the link below, follow our Twitter accounts, Facebook page, and you can even follow us or chat with us on Discord. We have our server, which
Yeah.
I got the link posted down below.
Yeah, we're pretty much one of us, all of us, are pretty much always around to chat about whatever you want. So hit us up sometime.
Yep.
Yes. So this is the Much Games crew signing off. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for watching.